going to be fun. That's going to be a good time for all of us. Speaking of a good time for all of us, we're about to have one of the... Okay, it's already falling apart. Guys, your next comic, he is so fun. I'm very glad he's here. Please give it up for the hilarious Owen, Lyon-Smith.
Hello. I'm pretty skinny. I'm at the level of skinny right now where, like, I think people see me and they immediately go like, yeah, there's some rib cage definition there. Like, that's pretty good. Or like when I lean over, my whole spine is exposed. Like, it's like my skeleton is trying to escape. That's how skinny I am right now. It's not good. I think it's weird too because I've pretty much like always been this skinny. Like, I was always been, you know, like, not like a good feeling about it or a bad feeling about it. I just am like 100 pounds. Like, I just am that, you know, pretty much have it my whole life. Like, when I was younger, I was terrible in PE. I was the only 6-foot person that nobody thought could play basketball. Like, they looked at me and they were like, not him. He does not think ball is life. And they were right. Because I couldn't pick up the basketball, it was too heavy. And it's pretty much always been how it is. Like, and it's weird because I have like long legs. They were like, surely he can get across the court. And I could, but I have the muscle definition of like a buff squirrel. So, like, I wasn't doing anything once I got there. Like, that was what was happening. I found out as well, like, how bad it can be too to be like this level of skinny. So I went to a doctor's appointment recently, and my normal doctor, he's this guy. He's kind of like a buff-looking Jackie Chan, and I trust him because he looks like he eats kale. So I just like trust him implicitly. He knows what he's doing. And I went in for a checkup, and he had been replaced by like a potato version of himself. And immediately this guy starts telling me, he's like, wow, you're like really skinny, and your fingers are all weird looking, and your vision is terrible. And I was like, is there a diagnosis at the end of this, or are we just being mean for fun? Is that what we're doing here tonight? And he goes, no, you remind me of a patient I had about 10 years ago who had Marfan syndrome. And I was like, that sounds like a Looney Tunes character. I think you're making that up. And he goes, no. Marfan syndrome is where you have an enlarged aortic valve and it like slowly leaks blood, and then later on in life you have a fatal heart attack where your heart explodes. Like, the end of my life has confetti attached to it. Just like, bam! And then that's it. That's over. It's over for me. I was like, that doesn't sound too good, so we're gonna go get that checked out. So I went to a heart testing facility, and I immediately realized I should not be there. So I walk in, everybody is like at least 94 years old, and they're all like writing their will, like in the waiting room, like coughing up blood onto their will. And I just skip in, and I'm like, let's do this heart exam, guys. Like, come on, let's go, it's gonna be fun. I go into the heart testing room, and she hooks me up to the machine, and I hear, like, on the machine, this just like thump, 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 thump. And I say the dumbest thing I could have said, where I was just like, oh, that's my heart. She's like, what else would it be? And she goes, yeah, I guess. You guess? What do you mean you guess? Like, oh, is that a tumor? Crazy. I didn't even, it's just hanging out there making thumping noise. That's weird. I've never seen that before. So I leave the exam room feeling a lot worse than I did before, and we're walking out, and I go, hey, when do I actually get, like, the results back? And she goes, I don't know, I'm not a doctor, and walks away. That was how that part of the exam ended. I had to do a genetics portion of that same test. I showed up to the genetics portion of the exam, and this sort of, like, 3 people wander into the exam room. It's this, like, short, German-looking doctor. I didn't ask if he was German. He let me know. He walked in and he was just like, hello, my name is Hans. Very good to meet you. I am German. Do not be afraid. And I was. And he sat down, and then a med student walked in who said nothing, but he was like, this is my med student. She's not going to make it. And then the last person to come in was Lauren. Now, to this day, I do not know what Lauren does. All I know is that she walked in, Hans said, this is Lauren, and then she sat in the corner of the room with a clipboard writing notes and licking her lips. The entire examination procedure, that is all that she did. Hans is just sitting there like, let's just see what's wrong with it. We draw some blood, and Lauren's like, the whole time. I didn't end up having Marfan's, but my favorite part of the whole exam was the doctor going, oh, you should go tell your mother that you are all good. And I walked out to the waiting room to see my mother sitting there, and I went, Mom, the doctor wants to see you. That was my favorite part of the entire exam, because the look on my mother's face I have forever. It's mine. I was kind of ruined in life when I found out about kinks, because my parents are English, so I would call my mom Mummy, and I would call my dad Daddy, and I can't call him that anymore at all. So I don't call him. So it's, yeah. I used to have a job working at the Capitol. Actually, it was a fun job, but I was not good at it. My first day on the job, we went down to go get lunch, and I had totally forgotten my wallet. So somebody had to pay for my food. So the first thing I did at my internship at the Capitol was I went into debt with the government. That was the first thing that I did. The first thing that I did. And then we go back upstairs, and one of the people there is telling me like, "Hey, Owen, do you own any like nicer pants than that?" And I was like, "No." And he goes, "Okay, well, I mean, like, you know, maybe like, is it possible to get some nicer pants?" And I was like, "Look, dude, you just saw me go into debt a few minutes ago. Like, you should know this is pretty much what I'm gonna look like." And then he goes, "You just find some clothes at like, like a nice Goodwill or something." And I was like, "I could also find some legislators at a nice Goodwill, but I'm not in the market for either." So that's where I'm at right now. All right, I've been Owen Lyon-Smith, ladies and gentlemen. That has been my time. Thank you very much.